Well, we've been arguing about pronouns here in the United States and wondering why 2x4s now cost $9 a piece. There's real drama unfolding in Europe. Tensions between Ukraine and Russia are the highest they have been in a very long time. And we get some sense that there are political elements, mostly in the Democratic Party, not exclusively though, who would like to see a war in Europe. What is this and how concerned should we be about it? Tulsi Gabbard has paid a lot of attention to this. She's a former member of Congress from the state of Hawaii. We're happy to have her on tonight. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on. So is this conflict moving toward war, and are there leaders in this country who would like to see that, do you think?
It is moving in a very dangerous direction, and the question for the American people is, are we willing to go to war with Russia on behalf of Ukraine? And we need to understand that such a war would come at a cost beyond anything that we can really imagine. Because this is not a war that is just, okay, this is going to be something that's happening to someone else, somewhere else on the other side of the world. No, this is something that will directly impact me and you, Tucker, every single one of your viewers, and all of our loved ones. And this is a war that is not a game. It's a war in which there are no winners, because you've got, thousands of nuclear weapons that the United States has aimed towards Russia. Russia has thousands of nuclear weapons aimed towards us that could hit any town or city in America in less than 30 minutes and exact a cost upon every one of us that would result in excruciating death and suffering beyond comprehension. Hundreds of millions of people dying and suffering, seeing their flesh being burned from their bones. This is something that you can't really even imagine, and it's a cost that we will all pay.
Why in the world would we ever contemplate going to war with Russia, honestly?
It is one that we should not do for those very reasons.
Yeah.
If you look at the impacts of what a nuclear war brings, it really brings about the end of the world as we know it. And our leaders should understand this consequence and take it seriously. And this is why President Biden, instead of continuing to escalate tensions and continuing this new Cold War between the United States and Russia, he needs to de-escalate these tensions, kind of, take the heat out of it and actually focus on bringing an end to this new Cold War. Because if he doesn't, then it's not a question of if we go to war with Russia, if this war ends up with a nuclear holocaust. It really is then just a question of when. And if we continue down this path that we are on, it's something that could happen a lot sooner than any of us think.
I'm just amazed by the magnitude of the stories that all of us are missing, including those of us who are paid to follow this stuff, and especially this story. And so I appreciate how you so crisply and wisely assessed that. It's terrifying. Thank you. Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul from Off-Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian. So this is probably the last video I'm going to do tonight, but I have some very sobering information. I did a report earlier today about this, but it didn't really hit me until Hal Turner did an article on this. Now, Russia has issued alerts to different cities in Russia to get ready to start burying the dead. And when I did my report, I thought it was the dead in Ukraine. But it's not, people. It's for the mass burial of mass casualties of wartime in Russia. So let me, we have a map right here. Ukraine is right down here, right? This is where they're sending all their troops. There is this little spot down here, Crimea and the Black Sea. Well, some of the cities are north of Moscow. This is Moscow, Russia, right here. And this is one of the cities right here. It's about a couple hundred miles north of Moscow. They are issuing alerts to different parts of Russia to get ready for mass burials of wartime dead in their cities. They're not talking about down here in Ukraine where all the military equipment is being shipped, folks. They're talking about in Russia. And the only way you're going to have mass casualties in Russia is from a nuclear war. Did you hear what I said? Let me read you a little bit about this report. I'm going to go back and read it because this is very, very sobering, folks. Russia is getting ready for a nuclear war. So this was from Hal Turner. I also have a couple more articles about this. But this is from you can look this up yourself, the Volgada region in Sheripovets city. Now, Sheripovets is a city a couple hundred miles north of Moscow, Russia. This is nowhere near Ukraine. So I would not think that they're going to ship those bodies all the way from Ukraine north of Moscow over 1,000 miles away to bury them. They would bury them right there, right on the border of Ukraine and Russia. They would not ship all these bodies, these mass casualties. So this is being prepared. This is one of the cities, Volgata region, Sheripovets city, municipality. So this has been translated from Russian into English. And that is the decree. It says, in accordance with federal law dated on 6/10, says on the general principles of organizing self. Okay, hold on. He says the Department of Housing and Communal Services of the City Hall, Committee for City Property Management, Architecture, and Urban Planning of City Hall, by April 1st, 2021, determined the place of possible burial of corpses in wartime on the territory of the municipality city of Sheripovets. See, they're not talking about Ukraine area. They're talking about in Russia, north of Moscow. And you can go down and read this article. Let me see. It says the Department of Housing and Communal Services of the Mayor's Office shall be responsible for interaction with the Territorial Department of the Office of Federal Service for supervision of consumer rights protection and human welfare in the Volgada Oblast on the organization of sanitary and epidemiological supervision in wartime conditions. So this is crazy, folks. This is really crazy. It just hit me tonight that they're not talking about Ukraine. They're talking about right up here north of Moscow. This is Russia. Ukraine is way down here. Crimea is down here. Here's the Black Sea. But they're talking about mass deaths in the center of Russia, and that can only come from a nuclear war, folks. So Russia is preparing for this. That must tell you something. And I just put up a video of more military vehicles pouring into the Ukraine area. Russia is preparing for World War III, folks. This is it. I really, really do believe, and you need to get prepared. I would take this week to get you some extra supplies, and I would have a plan. Get you some extra food and water. Get you some masks at Home Depot. This is getting very serious, and I also just posted a live or a news update from Tucker Carlson with one of our Congress ladies warning us what is about to happen. Jesus Christ is coming back. If you don't know Jesus Christ,